Hi, I'm Thomas, the AxidentalDM, and I got a surprise in the mail today. The postal carrier dropped off Vaesen, a Nordic horror role-playing game published by Free League. It arrived a few days earlier than I had initially expected, but I thought I might as well bring you all along as we have a first look then at Vaesen Nordic horror role-playing game. Beautiful, beautiful cover art on the beginning. So let's take a look at the back to start off. In the dark forests and forlorn mountains, by black lakes and hidden groves, at your doorstep in the shadows something stirs, strange beings, twisted creatures lurking in the edge of vision, watching, waiting, unseen by most, but not by you. You see them for what they really are, the Vaesen. Welcome to the mythic North, Northern Europe of the 19th century, but not as we know it today, a land where the myths are real. A cold reach covered by vast forests, its few cities lonely beacons of industry and enlightenment, new civilization dawning. But in the countryside, the old ways still hold sway. There people know what lurks in the dark. They know to fear it. Vaesen, Nordic horror role-playing, is written by Niels Hintz and based on the work of Swedish illustrator and author Johan Egerkrantz. Vaesen presents a dark Gothic setting steeped in Nordic folklore and the old myths of Scandinavia. The game mechanics utilize an adapted version of the award-winning Year Zero engine. So let's just start off then by taking a quick look then at the table of contents. Okay, and so we've got introduction, probably most likely about the game system, what is a role-playing game, kind of I would suspect the normal stuff. Player characters, so that's going to be character creation. Skills, talents, conflicts, and injuries, so that's going to probably be the game mechanics and how to do all of that. Society and the headquarters, the mythic north of Uppsala, which would be my guess as the kind of the setting elements of the game. Then we have Vaesen. It talks about Vaesens and humans, magical powers, rules for Vaesen, NPCs, animals, the Vaesens of the world. So it's probably, as it says, kind of non-player characters, so the kind of the monsters. The mystery, the component of the mystery, the structure of the mystery campaign. All right, so that's probably going to be about how the GM would best run the scenarios, and then the dance of dreams. Prelude, place, confrontation, and aftermath. All right, not quite sure what that is, but we'll find out in just a second. So we just kind of turn over and begin at the introduction. No one in Hados wanted to talk about the dead children. At the inn where we met with silence, and a friend of the priest, a white-haired nobleman named Gustav von Flink, implicitly threatened that if we kept on asking, we would return to Uppsala alive. We wouldn't return to Uppsala alive. Luckily, an employee at the local orphanage defied the stern look from her headmistress and asked us to visit an abandoned mill south of the village. All right, very much just kind of getting into the style of what it is we're going to see. Introduction to Vaesen. Okay, supernatural Vaesens have lived side by side with the peoples of Scandinavia, but these creatures are not perceptible to human senses unless they choose to be. Let's see what this book. In this chapter, we explain what role-playing games are and how they are played. It begins with an example of what a gaming session might look like, and there are more examples scattered throughout the book. Here we will find a brief description of the world in which Vaesen takes place and the kinds of people these stories are about. Next chapter describes how to create a player. Okay. Then comes chapter 3, covers skills, different actions you can perform, the success of which is decided by rolling dice. Chapter 4 is devoted to talents, which are various tricks and types of expertise that your player character may possess and might find useful in his or her encounters with the Vaesen. Chapter 5 describes conflicts that might arise during the game. Chapter 6 focuses on the society, the organizations to which your character belongs, while Chapter 7 provides information about the world where the game takes place, the mythical Scandinavia. There also, we found some thoughts on how to approach the differences between the historical 19th century and the world featured in this game. The last 3 chapters hold secrets about the game world and its Vaesen. Only one member of the group should read these chapters, and the one who does cannot have a player character, but with the person who runs the game master. Therefore, no one should read these chapters until you have decided who will take on that role. Okay, so Chapter 8 describes the Vaesen and their magic. Chapter 9 contains instructions on how the game master may run and write his or her mysteries. While the 10th and final chapter of the book comprises a mystery entitled The Dance of Dreams. So that's then an included scenario that comes with it, and it's an introduction to the game. This image is one of the ones I found extremely interesting when I saw the Game Master's screen. This is the image that's on that, and it definitely one of the reasons that kind of drew me to this particular book. So just kind of going through a little bit, we just kind of see some of the art style that's in here. I like the layout in terms of how it's kind of laid out. It definitely has kind of a little bit of a 19th century look to it, but it's also still very, very readable. Okay, so this is chapter 2 on your player characters. Just a quick look, some of the skills that are available: agility, close combat, force, medicine, range combat, stealth, investigation, learning, vigilance, inspiration, manipulation, and observation. Okay. Some tables. Okay, various archetypes. We have academic and doctor, hunter and occultist, an officer and a priest, private detective and servant, vagabond and writer. Okay. And then we get into chapter 3, which is all about the skills it mentioned. And then chapter 4, the talents. The art, I gotta say, I'm really digging this kind of style of art. Chapter 5, conflicts and injuries. So this is the same piece that is on the cover of the book. Okay. Cheat sheet for medical care. Well, that would be helpful. Okay, so here we're getting into kind of the mythos of the setting, society, and its headquarters. Let's read a little bit about it. This chapter provides historical background of society, an organization made up of people with a sight that for centuries devoted itself to studying and banishing Vaesen before it ceased to exist, roughly 10 years ago. Huh. It also explains how you and the other player characters band together to breathe new life in the organization and reopen the society's old headquarters. So the myths are kind of coming back. Interesting. All right, various titles within the society's creed. I solemnly swear not to be corrupted, bloodied, or weakened by the spawn of the underworld. I swear not to let my mind be muddled, clear of eye, keen of thought, pure of deed. I swear to put the society before my own ambitions and emotions, my life for my comrades. I pledge my life to you, holy Artemis, for the battle against the Vaesen and the protection of mankind. Okay, just kind of continuing through. Mythic North and Uppsala, so just kind of more about the land in which it's taking place. Vaesen takes place in Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark in the version of our world which is entirely its own. It's a time and place that mixes events, cultural expression, and confirms and conflicts from the entire 19th century in a way that will be unique for each gaming group. Right. Oh, beautiful map. Mariboticum, Sinus Bothanius, Sinus Finicus, the Mythic North. Okay. Just kind of skipping through a little bit, just kind of seeing some of the, really wanting to look at the art and see what that is. Because like I said, it's just, there's something about it, I find it quite fascinating. Rules for, okay, so we're into chapter 8 here, and so I don't want to get into chapter 8 too much because remember that's, it says that's really for only the game masters. So just kind of skip through a little bit and see if we can get towards the end. That's more about the Vaesen. See if there's a little introduction to the mystery. Okay, no, this was the mystery. Okay, this chapter describes how to create and game master mysteries in Vaesen. The first part of the text focuses on the components of the mystery and explains how to lay the groundwork by choosing one or more Vaesen and coming up with conflicts that have triggered the events at the center of the story. So definitely for game masters, this is going to be handy for how everything kind of works. Components of the mystery, so choosing your Vaesen, the conflict section on kind of balancing the game, misdeeds, location, atmosphere, clues, central clues. Central clues may, for example, answer the following question: what kind of Vaesen is it? How can the Vaesen be killed or banished? How can the Vaesen be found or lured in? Where does one find the requisites of the ritual? Some clue examples: props. A good way to create an atmosphere is to Present the clues in the form of objects you have created. If the player characters are meant to receive a letter, you could prepare a letter that looks as if it came from the game world and hand it to them when appropriate. This can be done with everything from train ticket containers of strange chemical substances, a boot left behind at a crime scene, or a puzzle the player may solve in order to gain certain information about the creatures. These objects that are physically used at the gaming table are called props. Okay. Structure of the mystery. Okay. I definitely want to just kind of spend a quick minute looking at what kind of the steps of the mystery. Prologue, invitation, preparation, journey, arrival, place, confrontation, and aftermath. Okay, prologue. Okay, each character gets a scene from their daily life. Invitation, the mystery is introduced, giving the character reason to visit the location. Preparation, the character prepares at their headquarters. Journey, the game master describes the journey to the location. The characters can gain an advantage. Arrival, places, number of places, often 3, in search of the clues. Character confronts the creature or the human behind the conflict. And then finally, the aftermath. The character heads back to the headquarters where they gain experience points and find out whether their defects and insights have become permanent. Oh, and then it goes in kind of a little bit more detail on each of those various sections. Okay. With the included scenario, let's see if there is a brief little introduction to that. Yes, here we go. The Dance of Dreams. Okay. This chapter contains the introductory mystery, The Dance of Dreams, which should take approximately 2 to 3 sessions to complete. If you'd rather finish the mystery in a single session, you may skip the first steps and start with a journey to the location. Simply recount how these players got there. The mystery begins with the characters being called to the Witch Cat Inn south of Uppsala. Private Detective Olas Klint has noticed strange things going on there and then reaches out to the player characters for help. Okay, and so we won't spend too much time with any of that just because we don't want to spoil it, but say some tables, and then your character sheet. Okay, name, age, archetype, motivation, trauma, dark secret, various relationships, talents, insights, advantages, equipment, attributes, resources, conditions, skills, development points, some history, facilities. So if you have any thoughts on Vaesen, you've kind of picked up this game already yourself and take a look at it, why don't you drop any of those comments down below, and perhaps while you're down there, hit the like button and share this video with your friends. And if you want to join me on this continuing adventure into tabletop role-playing games, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button. So until next time, I'm the AxidentalDM, and thanks for watching.